We've also got these things that are branded Geek Bar. Oh, this is cool. What is this? Geekbar.tools. Okay. I think, judging by the image, this is probably stencils. What is this? Okay, this is... Is it marked? I know it's a stencil, but I was just trying to easily identify what board it's for. Okay, this is for an iPhone 5S. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and quickly show these to you under the microscope. Oh, cool. These are going to make my life easier. My stencils have been getting pretty wore down, and I love to get new stencils. I can't wait to try these out. Okay, so this is an iPhone. This is for an iPhone 5S. Are they marked on the outside? They might be marked in Chinese. I'm not completely sure there. Okay, the next one that I have here maybe if you just open the flap. Okay, this is for an iPhone 6. I'm going to go ahead and pull that one out of the package because I will be using this today. And I really like the feel of these. I don't like that my fingers are sliming them up with fingerprints. Here's about the size of this stencil. It's pretty small, but it looks to have the most common things that we use. It looks like we have the Mason Touch IC, we've got our audio codec, I believe we may have Cumulus here, we've got a PMIC. These are really nice looking stencils. This is stuff that is very handy. I'm going to go ahead, I'm leaving this one out of the package because this is going to get used today and we'll never ever go back in this package. Okay, our next stencil, gosh, look at, I don't know if I'm going to go through all these. Okay, our next stencils here, I'm going to see what all we got. The next one here, if we open up the flap, this is for iPhone 6s, and I really like these square hole stencils. I've always been torn between really cheap thin stencils and really thick expensive stencils. These seem to be a cross between the two. They're somewhat thin, and I like the way they behave. Okay, so our next one's here. This is going to be an iPhone 7 or a 7 Plus. This is iPhone 7, and we've got our crazy looking Trinity things here, whichever one of these is Trinity. That's a tricky little animal, Trinity is. Let's see, iPhone 7. We're going to go ahead, we're going to be leaving the iPhone 7 out of the package. Okay, so let's toss the iPhone 7 aside. And the packaging aside, because it'll never go back in that packaging ever again. The next stencil that I have here, seems like there's like way too many stencils. I can't imagine needing this many different models. This is for an iPhone 8. I'm going to go ahead. I haven't had to do much in the way of iPhone 8 board repair yet. I haven't done any reballing yet, so I'm going to put this one back in the package. This would probably be a lot easier if I was smaller in Chinese. Okay, so that's back in the package. And also, oops, our phone here running that's supposed to never reboot. Still running, hasn't rebooted after a little bit of work. Okay. So the next one out of the package here is an iPhone 5S. Totally rad. Okay, put our 5S aside. The next one we have, this looks like a 7 Plus probably. No, iPhone 6. Oops. Wait, do we have multiples? I guess we do. iPhone 6. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm taking people down the wrong path here just a little bit. Some of the cheaper stencils I've ordered, you buy the stencil and it's got like every chip on it. This is the power logic stencils for doing those chips. This is the communication baseband stencil for doing those chips. So we're also going to be leaving this one out of the package. I didn't even notice this didn't have baseband on it. I do a lot of searching, no service iPhone 6 repairs still. So that will never go back in the package. Let's set this aside. The next stencil that I have here is for an iPhone 6S. You know what? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to leave that one in the package for just right now. Because the current iPhone 6S stencil that I'm using, it's not that bad. I use it not very often, and it's still in really good shape. So I'm going to put that one back in the package. The next stencil we have here is our iPhone 7 communication baseband stencil. That is for sure staying out of the package. So we'll kick that aside. And let's see, what do we have next? The next stencil is for iPhone 8 communication baseband. We're going to leave that in the package for now. Dun, 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 dun. I really like getting all this stuff. I do thank you guys a lot. And also, I haven't said it yet, but the links for all of this is going to be the link to the website where you can buy any of these things are in the description. Here is the A7 CPU and RAM stencil. I'm going to be leaving that in the package. This is all really cool stuff. You guys have got some nice packaging here. So far, I love everything here. The only thing that I would squawk about is having to solder together the power supply squids. That's... yeah, okay. Okay, the next one here is the A8 CPU module. For all of you out there crazy enough to try CPU transplants, not me. Maybe for fun, but I'm not going to be transplanting... I'm not going to be transplanting any CPUs for money anytime soon because I actually need money, and if I'm not successful at transplanting the CPU, I don't get to make any money. Alright, next stencil on the list. It's for the A9 CPU. Ooh. Maybe one day for fun, folks. Maybe one day for fun. Okay. We're going to be leaving all of the CPU stencils in the package. If any of you would like to comment and make fun of me for deciding not to transplant or do any BGA rework on CPUs for the sake of money, feel free to comment below. Alright, we're almost through our pile of stencils here, guys. A10 CPU. Now, I have been watching some of you do A10 CPU rework on YouTube. That's been some pretty cool stuff to watch, and it's encouraging to see people that have had some level of success with it. But to be completely honest, many of the CPU rework videos I've seen, they spend a whole lot of time on it and don't end in success. So here's our A10. I love the stuff is like a work of art. I love the way these chips look. I love that we've got stencils to work with them. And then this is stuff that I will eventually pull out and use. Maybe one day when things calm down and I've got more free time to work on stuff that doesn't pay money directly. Maybe then. Okay, now we're going to pull out our next stencil. This is probably marked on the outside somewhere. No, they got the same package for all of them. Okay, this one is the A11 CPU stencil. I love it. I absolutely love it. But the thought of being locked down to needing to make that successful in order to feed my kids, it's horrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. Uh-oh, people are sending me links. Alright, let's set this aside. What do we got here? We've got one left. What's the one we got left? Oh, cool. NAND stencil for iPhone 6, 8, and 6S. Loving it. That's totally rad. I'm going to go ahead and leave that one out of the package. Okay. Now, before I move on to my next set of tools here, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do a single reball with these stencils. I'm going to pick something that I'm very fluent in, something that I'm very, very, very used to, so that I don't make myself look like a steaming pile of idiot. I'm going to go ahead and pick a, let's see, roll the dice. Touch IC. Let's reball a quick touch IC. Now, whenever I need a touch IC and I don't have one, what I do is I reach for this little bag over here. Okay. This bag is a bag that I used to drop all my Mason ICs in and my Cumulus ICs in back whenever I thought that you absolutely had to install new ICs, and I'd pull my hair out and just couldn't figure out why touch failure kept resurfacing. Lucky for me, I never ever threw away a single chip. I kept every single IC that I ever pulled, and whenever I need an IC, this is where I get them. Alright, now since I can't do anything without my pretty blue gloves on, I'm going to go ahead and put my pretty blue gloves on, which, by the way, I purchased these at Walmart. They were $10 for the big box, and now they're like $8 for the big box. Love these gloves. Okay, so now I've got my pretty blue gloves on. I'm going to turn on my cheapo hot air station, which, by the way, has been with me now like going on 2 years. I'm going to set my temperature to 380 degrees C, and I'm going to use an airflow of 40 out of 100. And let's see if I can pick the nastiest IC in the bunch here. Okay, so we're going to dump out some ICs. Oh, this looks like a really nasty one. Let's go for that one. Okay. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've had to buy Mason ICs, guys, because I have hundreds of them. I mean, I went through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of repairs installing new chips, and they didn't need new chips because it was the PCB. So, all right, I'm going to put you under the microscope over here. Okay, and I'm going to do my normal reball procedure, which, by the way, I still do a bunch of these. I've already done 3 of these today. I've done a handful of them this week. Oh, this is really nasty looking. All right, let's make this thing look beautiful again. Okay, so I'm going to grab a hold of the chip with my tweezers. Add some fluxy motherfucker. Okay. Oh, this is bad. Look at all the hairs it's got on it. Alright, let's drag a blob of solder around on this. Okay, I will admit, most of my best ones are gone. The bag's starting to get pretty picked through. So maybe at some point in time here I'll have to break down and buy some chips, but probably not, because I haven't even began taking these off of donor boards yet. We're going to make this chip beautiful again. That's if there's no deep gouges or anything on the bottom of it. You'll notice I do my reballing off to the side and not on the blue mat. The blue mat seems to swell, and I know people have told me to put these on paper towels and stuff, but I'm so used to using this part of my workbench, I just continue to use this part of my workbench. Okay, so we've got the chip pretty well cleaned up. Now we're going to grab our new stencil. Let's grab iPhone 6. Looks like that has got the Mason on it. Gosh, these are like, my stencils have deep gouges in them. Like if you look at my iPhone 6 stencil for doing the masonry balls, let me show you that under the microscope. Okay, here's my stencil, and I would normally put that right there under the scope. And as you can see, it's just got tweezer marks all over the place. It's pretty highly used. Now, I'm a creature of habit, so it's going to be really hard to change stencils. Let's see how these new ones do, okay? So, back under the microscope, we're going to lay our... I like the way this feels. Can we do anything to make this... I really like the way this feels. Okay, we're going to add just a tiny... Gosh, I don't even want to put solder paste on them. They're so pretty and new. Let's add a tiny bit of paste. Okay. Yeah, I hope they weren't expecting me to solder together the iPower thing and then do a video. Oh shit, I got fuzz all over it. Let's go ahead and leave it. Okay. Now we're going to begin warming this up slowly. Now I'm trying hard not to press with the tweezers. Let's see how this warps, okay? I'm slowly warming it up. Are we still in focus? We are sort of in focus. So far it's not warping too easy. I like that. Okay, I see some solder starting to melt. Let's go ahead and roll it from the bottom right corner up to the top left. There we go. Oh, this is beautiful. Beautiful. Love that stencil. That is bad to the bone. Normally I can get it to stick right back to the table. Okay, then it's not sticking right back to the table. So if it don't stick right back to the table, I'll just use my blade. Flip it out of there. Okay. I'm going to pick up the chip with my tweezers. Give it one last float. And that turned out marvelous. That is a beautifully reballed mason I see. I really like the way that these square holes work. I've only got one other square hole stencil, and it does really good, but it's still, the metal for that stencil is really thick, and I don't like what it takes to actually do the whole entire process. You have to warm it up at a certain way, and you got to be so dang careful with that thing to keep it from warping. Now I imagine once I start using the larger stencils that these are going to do a lot the same, but I feel like this is sort of a balance between really thin and really thick. Clean up my mess here. And I'm going to love these stencils. It's small. It's got more of what I need on this specific one, more of what I need on a different specific one. This is going to be really cool. Thanks, guys. I love these stencils.